everyone. Welcome to my class. Today we will be discussing about the meiosis 2. Last class we have seen the meiosis 1 and in this class we will be dealing with the meiosis 2. So let's move into the topic. If we talk about the significance, why it is necessary, meiotic division. It is necessary because it maintains the same chromosome number in the sexually reproducing organism. I have shown you that if this is a 2n, it divides into two daughter cells with half the number of chromosome, right? So it becomes nn. Now this n will again divide, so it will form n, and this also will form n. Now here it is meiosis 1 and here it is meiosis 2, right? So here this meiosis 1, you can see the number of gametes, the number of chromosome, not gametes, it is chromosome, gets reduced. It is used in gametes formation, this division, right? So here we call this meiosis 1, we called it reductional division. If we talk about meiosis 2, the number of chromosome remains same, right? So we called it meiosis 2 as an equational division. Now what is why is it necessary to undergo meiosis? This is because it maintains the chromosome number in the sexually reproducing organisms, right? It provides a way for mixing up of genes which occurs in two ways. The maternal and paternal chromosome gets mixed up and cross-joining. So basically it helps in creating the variations. It helps in creating what? Variations, right? So it maintains the chromosome number. So it is used in the sexually reproducing organism and it maintains the chromosome number. It maintains the chromosome number in the sexually reproducing organism, right? Next, it maintains the same chromosome number in the sexually reproducing organism. From a diploid cells, haploid gametes are produced which in turn fuse to form a diploid cell. Now you can see this line, from a diploid cells. Haploid gametes are produced which in turn fuse to form a diploid cell. That means what? Now say father and mother, both chromosome will come and fuse together and it will leads to the formation of 2n. This 2n, what we called it diploid. I'm explaining this sentence, right? So this is what we call diploid cell, right? Now what will happen? This diploid cell will undergo division. Which division? Meiosis 1, right? So once it undergo meiosis 1, it will produce n, right? So one n, another n. It will produce n chromosome. So you can see this diploid cell gets converted to your haploid cells. This is we call haploid cells, right? So now you can see from diploid cells we got a haploid cell and this division is taking place in gametes, right? So from a diploid cell, haploid gametes, because as this division is taking place in gamete, so we call it haploid gametes are produced, which again this haploid gamete will fuse with another partner and form 2n. Now again the meiosis will take place. So like this way the cycle gets continued, right? It restricts the multiplication of chromosome number and maintains the stability of the species. So see, if you see like this, if 2n, if it do not maintain the chromosome number, what will happen? It will form 2n, it will get fused to another 2n, so another will have 4n, 4n get fused to any other n. So it may leads to you can say it may leads to disturbance, right? So it basically maintains, it do not allow the multiplication of chromosome. It restricts the multiplication of chromosome number and maintains the stability of the species. Maternal and paternal genes get exchanged during crossing over. We have seen crossing over in Pectine 1 stage, right? So we have seen how crossing over takes place and that crossing over part we call the chiasmata, right? So maternal and paternal genes get exchanged during the crossing over and it results in variations among the offspring. All the four chromatids of a homologous pair of chromosomes segregates and go over separately to four different daughter. This leads to variations in the daughter cells. Obviously, The four chromatids, once they undergo crossing over, the four chromatids of a homologous pair of chromosomes get separated and they go separately to the daughter cells, and this leads to the variations in the daughter cells, right? We will see diagram. Phases of meiosis 2. Again, we have seen in meiosis 1, the meiosis 1 is divided into prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1 and telophase 1, right? Same here, meiosis 2 is again divided into your meiosis 2 is divided into your prophase 2, right? Then prophase, metaphase 2, then anaphase 2 and telophase 2. So this meiosis 2 is again undergoing prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2 and telophase 2, right? Now this division, the division, since it is meiosis 2 is also, we can say, equational division, so it is very similar. So it is very similar to mitosis, right? It has the following steps. Prophase 2. The event of prophase 2 are similar to mitotic prophase. That means what will be happening? Disintegration of nuclear membrane or nucleolus. So nucleolus and nuclear membrane disappear, right? Spindle fibers are formed at opposite pole. So the formation of spindle fiber takes place at the opposite pole. I will show you a diagram. Here you can see this is the prophase 2. Initially the centriole remain close to each other, right? So during prophase 1 they start moving to the opposite pole and they develop this rays. We call it spindle fiber. We called it what? We called it spindle fiber, right? And this small rays we called it astral rays. These astral rays, and this is what we call centriole, right? And this astral rays and centriole together we call it ester, right? So how many esters you can see here? You can see two esters. One is this, another is this. So the division we call it what? Amphiestral. And this basically takes place in animal. Plants do not have your centriole. So the division in plants we call it anestral division, right? So this is the meiosis 2, prophase 2 of meiosis 2. Next, let's move to metaphase 2. In metaphase, it is very similar to mitosis. So what will happen? All the chromosomes gets aligned at the center of the cell, and this chromosomes which gets aligned at the center of the cell, we call it equatorial plate. We called it what? We called it equatorial plate, right? So the chromosome gets aligned at the center, which we called it equatorial plate. Now what will happen? This chromosome, this you can see, this spindle fiber get attached to the chromosome at the centromeric part. So this part we call centromeric part. We call what? Centromere. Now what it will do in anaphase, this thread-like structure will start pulling the chromosome into two ends. They pulls the chromosome into two opposite ends. As a result, what happen? You will see some this sort of fibers between the centromere. These are the fibers between centromere to centromere, and these fibers we called it interzonal fibers. We called it what? We called it interzonal fibers. Right? Now you can see the both this got shifted to opposite. This moved to this side and this sister chromatids moved to this side. Right? Yes or no? This moved to this side and this moved to this side, and these are the interzonal fibers. Right? So this is how it looks like this. Now in case of telophase, what will happen? This cell will divide into individual cells. Right? These two divide. So these two will form cytokinesis. This two here, this two second, this third, this fourth. So this is the meiosis 2. Each phases of meiosis 2 I have explained in diagram. We will now see it in the slides. Metaphase 2, if we talk about the metaphase 2, here what happened, the chromosome move to the center of the equatorial plate, they get attached to the spindle fiber centromere, right? They get attached to the spindle fiber centromere, right? Next, anaphase 2, the sister chromatids separate from one another and are pulled to opposite poles of the spindle due to the contractions of the spindle fiber. The spindle fiber gets contracted and they start pulling the chromosome towards the opposite poles. Next, telophase 2, the chromosome begins to uncoil and become thin. The chromosome starts getting uncoiled, right, and become thin. They reorganized into the nucleus, nuclear envelope reappear. You can say reappearance of the nucleolus and nuclear membrane in each pole. Cytokinesis follows and 4 haploid daughter cells are formed and thus the meiotic division is completed. So what will happen basically, the telophase is just reverse of the prophase. We have seen in prophase that nucleolus, nuclear membrane gets disintegrated. But in case of telophase, what will happen, there is a reappearance of nucleolus and reappearance of nuclear membrane. Cytokinesis follows and 4 haploid daughter cells are formed and thus meiotic division is completed. Clear? So that's all about meiosis 2. So if you have any queries, feel free to ask, and next class we will be dealing with biomolecules. Right. Thank you so much students for attending the session. Thank you.